our minds are extremely, extremely powerful. Now, when we think of the mind is like a seed. And we've all been planted here in this place. And we've been planted in darkness. Just like when you garden, you plant seeds in the darkness. And the reason why you plant them in darkness is that way when they touch the light, they actually know what it is. And you keep growing towards that light. So in order to see what's inside this seed, to see what's inside this mind, what must you do? You have to water your garden. And this is your garden. This is your home. This is the place where you rest. And when you nurture your garden and you water your garden, you speak to your garden, put some love into this garden, that shell, that's an ego, starts to soften up. And as you soften this ego, you soften your heart. And then something sprouts out of it. And that sprout that comes out of it is pure conscious awareness. The purest of loves. Because that's what you truly are. You are love. You are a loving, conscious awareness. And what gets me is that people say, oh, God, save my soul. There is nothing wrong with your soul. Your soul is the purest thing here. All the issues you got going on are in your own mind. Because your mind is just that powerful. That's why if you want to see what's inside, you must nurture this seed. Nurture it, love it, take it on a walk, do what you got to do. And stop minding so much of what everybody else is doing. It's not about pointing fingers and blaming and complaining. Complaining keeps people suffering. Because you are the only one who makes yourself feel that way. So when it comes to your mind, think of it as a seed. You cannot force this mind open. You cannot control this mind. And think about it. Everything that happened in your life, you had no control over it. So as we move forward, you still have no control. Life is not about controlling, because you can't control life. You can't control the thoughts. You can't control your emotions. You can't control these things. Life, in general, and every aspect of life, is not meant to be controlled. This is where people start having stresses and anxieties because they think they need to move in one direction. They try to will themselves forward when the universe is already laying down the path for you. So as long as you're trying to force this mind open, or you're practicing this meditation to get there, or somebody else taught you how to do it, because when it comes to meditation, the only thing that you need to ask yourself is, what is meditation? And not take anybody else's practices. Because when you take somebody else's practice, that's the way they do it. That's the way they did it. And when you do it yourself and you ask the question, what is meditation? You see, you are free to move. You are free to do it in the way it's supposed to. And the mind will start to reveal itself. Watch. Start asking yourself the questions. Question everything. Watch. Then the mind, every time you do something, the mind will question. And then the answer will come right after that. Because a lot of people think that you got to try to find the solution, right? You can't find the solution in the same place that caused the issue. The more you understand something, understand something, and then overstand something, it falls away. Like your ego. We're not trying to get rid of the ego. Never try. You can't get rid of it, right? But what you can do is understand it. And once you understand, it naturally falls away. That's what I'm saying. You cannot force these things to happen. You can't force enlightenment. And another thing is that spirituality begins on the physical level. You have to walk. You have to crawl before you walk. You can't just go straight into heaven like most people think, that they can just praise and proclaim and worship when they don't even know themselves. That's why it says, know thyself. If you know thyself, then it's much easier to understand what is really going on inside of this temple. That's why I always tell people, in the beginning of spirituality, you got to crawl. You got to know the physical first. And then everything starts to blossom when you start to know yourself on that physical level. And that's where it begins. It doesn't begin when you say, oh, I'm spiritual. Okay, and what is that? Ask yourself that. What is that? What do you mean by I am spiritual? I am this. I am that. Because everything starts from the physical, and then you work your way up. And then everything will be revealed to you. Once you learn that your mind is powerful, and it's not meant to be controlled, and you cannot force it open. But you can observe it, you can analyze it, you can examine it, and that's all you can do. And then it reveals itself. And that's the beauty of the mind body. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with your soul. Your soul is the purest thing here. It's already free. It's all in the mind.